Or at Westside Decorating Center. Stop in, visit them today. Good morning to you. Welcome to the Art Lewis Show for this Tuesday morning. It is the fifth day of August, and we have lots to do this morning. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we'll learn about the Saginaw Art Fair from Lauren Collinson. At 11 o'clock, Ben from RoofMax will join us. We'll have open phones, time permitting, as we will this hour and next hour. But we start the hour this morning heading out to one of our favorite gems in Saginaw County and one of the most visited tourist attractions in the state of Michigan. And that, of course, is Frankenmuth. And with us this morning, we say good morning to the city manager, Bridget Smith. Bridget, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Bob, thanks for joining us again, as you have many times. I'm curious what it takes for a city like Frankenmuth to prepare for an event like, for example, the upcoming car show in early September. What does it take for the city to get ready to house not only all of the participants with cars, but the thousands and thousands of people that come to town?
Literally everyone. It takes a combined effort of our public safety, so that includes police and fire. Everyone kind of pitches in, whether they're working at the waste treatment plant or public works, and then even our residents. Anytime you welcome, 80,000, 100,000 people to a town of 5,000,
Yeah.
Everyone is impacted.
Yeah. I mean, do you find residents look to get out of town when that happens?
Well, they definitely are smarter about planning their trips. If you live in certain sections of town, you're not going to attempt, to go to Kroger on, car show Saturday. But there's, I believe with tourism, which clearly is one of our top industries in Frankenmuth, it's always about balance, right? Like it's hard to have that many friends come to town and still function like a normal city. But there's also, some benefits that come with those guests on that weekend.
Pat, I mean, you use the term normal city, but for Frankenmuth, that is normal. I mean, the planners of these events in Frankenmuth, it seems it's almost continuous now, weekend after weekend after weekend. Is there really a let-up?
If you're here, town is always, bustling, but AutoFest, Snowfest, Dog Bowl, Balloons Over Bavarian Inn, those weekends are more than normal.
More than normal tourist-wise, more people.
Yeah. Yep. More people, more intensity, and more people really wanting to come back and do what they've always done. So if they've always parked in the same place, they want to do what's familiar.
So let's talk about how we fund these kinds of things. For example, do the organizers of the Car Fest provide funds for the city, because it obviously costs the city something to do this?
Yep. So each event is a little different, but like AutoFest, for example, when the street is closed, their AutoFest is paying for all of those detours to take place. We go out. We have special barricades now that the city has purchased through some ARPA funds that will stop vehicles, like an errant vehicle. We send them a bill at the end of the event for all of our staff time and equipment.
So it's something you really don't have to budget then, because somebody else is paying for it.
For some of it. Now, anytime we have so many people in town, the potential for overtime increases.
Sure.
But for the most part, the events pay I would say a share of public safety, and the reason that is more feasible is because on the police side we have reserve officers who are like a force multiplier, And then on the fire department side, our fire chief has done a really good job of accessing surrounding communities for these sorts of events, especially for AutoFest, as mutual aid. Because, one of the things that's, overlooked, it takes absolutely everybody to handle the crowd. But our police and fire, they still have to be ready to respond to a 911 call. So it's almost like being double staffed.
So let's for a minute pretend that Frankenmuth didn't have all of these weekend activities going on. What kind of a town is Frankenmuth in terms of a livable community?
Well, if you look at our demographic information, like if you were to really deep dive into the census data that we have on Frankenmuth, we're really kind of a bedroom community. So the vast majority of the people who live in Frankenmuth commute 20 to 30 minutes on average to their jobs. So in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a tale of two cities. We look like a tourist destination, but we're really, for the 5,000 people who live here, more of a bedroom community where we're commuting out to work.
So a bedroom community suggests housing. How is the housing stock in Frankenmuth? Is there any available?
It's rare right now. We have one subdivision that is nearing completion, Kingsbrook. We did just have Cobblestone Homes come to the Planning Commission for approval for a new subdivision that'll be about 40-some homes. But there's most definitely a desire for additional housing and more varied housing. There's lots of talk about how young people, so people who've moved away, grew up in Frankenmuth, have gone to college or started their careers, and now they're in their late 20s, early 30s, and want to move back. And there's the homes available right now are starting at $350,000-$400,000.
Well, and even, in this day and age, to build a starter home, let's say you're going to build a 1,500-foot basic ranch, at $300 a square foot or more, you're already over that $400,000.
Right.
It's not inexpensive anymore.
Yeah.
So where these projects, where is the open space? Is it farmland being taken up, or is there other property available?
It's actually a little bit of both. So the city of Frankenmuth and Frankenmuth Township, since the early 80s, have had a urban limit line. So there is an agreed upon imaginary border, outside of the city that we've both identified for growth. So the goal is for us to stay relatively compact and for the township to be able to preserve their farmland. So for the most part, it's directly adjacent to the city. And the plan is we fill up that land already planned for growth before we think about going any further.
And is that land zoned for single-family type ownership?
It's a mix. There's some on the south side of town that's zoned for commercial. Some on the north as well. But I would say probably 60% is zoned for residential.
And in terms of the financial health of Frankenmuth, how are we doing?
I think we're doing pretty good. We it's always a struggle to balance the wants and needs against the millage rate. 2 years ago, the city created a special assessment district for police and fire. And the idea behind creating that special assessment district is it allows us to capture more of the growth downtown. Our intent is that as downtown grows and the businesses and the buildings improve and reinvest, that will help our special assessment grow. So we won't have to raise the millage rate as quickly as we normally would.
And you mentioned downtown growth. I didn't realize there was any room for it down there. It looked like it was occupied.
Our business community, I think, is really good about keeping that fence painted white. So there's constant building permits and renovations and small expansions and even some complete teardowns and rebuilds that happen downtown. And so that has been impressive to see what they can do with limited space.
So people tend to keep up their properties.
Yes. As we're blessed in Frankenmuth because we have so many locally owned businesses. I think that's probably one of our biggest factors in terms of our success. These business people are shopping locally. You see them at the store. You see them in church. So it's really easy for them to address small maintenance issues. I know from previous lives, when you have out-of-town ownership, sometimes it's hard to even just find out who to talk to if there's an issue.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, what's on the plate for you for Frankenmuth in the very near future? Anything coming up?
So many things. We are working on a new permit for our waste treatment plant, and so we need to find a way to reduce our carbonaceous biological oxygen demand, which is a really science way of saying strength of our waste. So we're partnering with our restaurants to look at ways to do that. We're looking at purchasing a new fire truck with the City Township Commission, and those, if you're unfamiliar,
that's
very
$1 million.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yes. And we don't like to borrow money, so we're working very hard to save that up so we're ready when that time comes around. And we're building pickleball courts.
Of course. I have friends, 2 or 3 friends that have played pickleball, and every one of them has been injured playing pickleball.
So they taught me a saying, because I'm not a player. So when I went to one of the first meetings, they told me no ball is worth the fall.
Yeah, well, my friends didn't learn that lesson until after the fact. Well, Bridget, listen, it is always a pleasure to talk to you, and always fun to come and visit Frankenmuth. Some of my favorite restaurants are there, and we'll chat with you again down the road.
It was great speaking with you. Thank you so much.
All right, Bridget, thanks a lot. Bye-bye now. Bridget
Bye-bye.
Smith, she is the city manager of the city of Frankenmuth. We'll have open phones now for the remainder of the hour. 989-752-6111, the number to call.
It's Soaring Eagle Casinos.
Emission and is in nuclear. And with the new modular nuclear facilities that can be built today, I still feel that that's the answer. I don't think solar panels and windmills are the answer in the long run. They may provide a percentage of electricity, not a high percentage, certainly not the majority. Somewhere along the line, we still have to generate electricity through the use of natural gas, oil. I won't even say coal because it's a dead issue, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because the scrubbing systems that we have today and the ability to clean the emissions from the stacks are fantastic. and we have an abundance of coal. But I'm beating a dead horse. No point in it. Whereas I do believe we can find a future in nuclear. Now, it's not inexpensive, but nothing is. We're building for the future. And I think that we have to look at all of the possibilities. All right, we'll take a break, and then we will be back. Calls are coming here on the Art Lewis Show.
You know you want it, right?
Produce electricity that would have paid for some of the rebuild, and B, help out with the electrical problem.
It's an interesting theory. It would be, if we go back in time, that's why a lot of those dams were built in the first place.
Right.
Consumers owns quite a bit of the shoreline along the rivers and generated a lot of electricity. Why they don't do it today, I can't tell you. I don't know if it's an efficiency question or what the reason is, but I certainly would not object to that. I think it's probably a good idea. But it's if for whatever reason, those projects over the years slowly but surely got abandoned.
Right, and I get that the old-style generators weren't generating, but they now have generators that take very little effort that generate a lot of power.
Yep.
And all of the money that was put into those, you would have thought that they could have added those and recouped some of their money and or helped out. I mean, it just seems like there's so much power and so much energy right there running 24/7 that could...
The question for the Four Lakes Task Force, why it wasn't done, or is it efficient? Is it not efficient? I don't know the answers, but they're good questions.
Yeah, and maybe, okay, one didn't generate enough power. Stack two or three of them together. Have it like a waterfall. It's rolling over three of them generating power. Whatever. It just seems like it could have, then we get into transfer lines and everything else, and I get it, but...
Well, those aren't big issues. They do that all over the place all the time. The real question is, what's the return on investment versus the capitalization? And I can't answer that. I don't know how efficient they are today. I would think they're certainly improved from the old days, but I don't know. But they're questions worth asking. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, even if they added them now, I look at it and say, okay, you build a windmill that goes up. It's not guaranteed to run 24/7, and all of the other types of, other than nuclear, but all of the other types aren't really producing around the clock like that.
Yeah, well, that's why I like nuclear.
Right.
So,
you have a good day. Thank you for taking my call.
Scott, thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Bye-bye now. It's an interesting thought. I mean, we have plenty of water around here and plenty of flowing water. And at one time, there were a lot of dams producing electricity. So we're going to have to inquire into the companies themselves as to why we've moved away from hydropower. But it does seem like an interesting idea, doesn't it? I mean, it's if you're looking for a way that produces no emissions and you already have the fuel, if you will, in the water, it would seem to be a reasonable answer. Now, whether or not they produce at the level we think they do, I don't know. What the capitalization is, I don't know. Those are questions that would have to be answered. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come back. We'll get to Tim in Midland when we return. I want to talk to you about Quick Lane Freeland in the McDonald Ford property because they realize that it's been a tough year for allergies, and anybody with them knows how tough it's been. And Quick Lane Freeland wants to keep you healthy as you drive your car, and they do it with a project called FrigiFresh. If you want to know more about it, listen to John from Quick Lane Freeland tell you about FrigiFresh.
FrigiFresh. Hi.
Hi, back with you here on WSGW, and let's get back to our phones. Tim is in Midland. Tim, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Art. How are we doing?
We're doing well, thanks.
Great. Hey, I just want to reaffirm something what you're saying there with the energy piece. I have worked in this. I know a little bit about it, and anybody that's listening can go to a website called MISO.org, MISOenergy.org, and you can look at the energy producing where we're at right now in the area we live. And we live in what's the mid-continent area, and it's this weird geographic piece that runs down basically through the middle of the country, and we're in their grid. And you can look at the coal, the natural gas, the nuclear, the weather, how much is actually being funneled into the grid. So we got 81,958 megawatts being generated right now. And, you can see how much is coal, natural gas, wind, nuclear, whatnot. And some of the things you were saying, nuclear, yes, is probably the only option we have right now to go with to produce what we need. And I read an estimate that in 5 years, AI is going to take everything that is being generated right now.
I've seen that.
So I don't know how true that is or not, but that's just a staggering amount of power that's going to take. And a lot of those AIs are going to be generating their own power. The companies that are doing, they're going to have their own generators. But kind of getting back to the piece here on, you're talking about the coal piece and the scrubbers. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, the scrubber technology on these right now is unbelievable. The particular emission going into the air is basically nil. I mean, natural gas is the cleanest of all of them that we have right now. It's absolutely unbelievable how little emissions are coming out of these things right now.
But would you agree with me that the reality of going back to coal is just about nil?
It probably is, just because it's been vilified so bad.
Yep.
I mean, it's evil.
Yep.
Coal is evil.
Yep.
Okay, whatever.
That's it.
Whatever. But it's virtue signaling on that one. But that's also where the wind and the solar comes in, too. It's like, those are a joke. I mean, you cannot produce enough wind and solar here, especially the solar piece in Michigan. We basically have 170 days of sunshine a year, and half of that is dark. So do the math. It can't produce the energy we need. And it's not on demand either. It's like when it works great, but it's only working half the time.
What about this concept of storage plants where they're generating megawatts through solar and what have you, and then there are these huge storage facilities where the electricity is stored until it's needed? Does it work?
Yeah, we don't have for that right now. No, it's not there. So it's not there. But the other ones, nuclear, natural gas are there. They're on demand. You can have it when you need it. So you can go up and down and rise as the demand on the grid. You can produce more. The demand goes down. You can produce less. So it's the wind and solar is it's a joke. It is not there. The juice that it takes to produce all these solar panels, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And the gentleman called about the dams before. Yeah. He was saying, it's like, hey, great idea. Why not dam this up? Again, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze there. Look at the Hoover Dam or something. Go out west. I mean, that's what you need. You need something massive for power.
I was there last year. I saw those generators. They're huge.
They are massive, aren't they? Yeah. I've seen them too. So it's when you start doing the solar panels, there's some pretty sad features. If you go north of Mount Pleasant, they got a solar farm north of Mount Pleasant that's huge. And you start producing what's called microclimates with these reflectors going into the air. So it's producing its own heat signature, and you're getting drainage off these panels, too, into the ground and the groundwater. Mm. So it's one of these things that people like to say, oh, it's just so clean. It's like, at first, it didn't miracle itself there. It had to be produced. It had to be produced with precious natural materials coming from somewhere. And then what are the side effects of having this massive reflector here? Yeah. So
all right.
It's not a zero-sum.
No, it's going to take a lot of brain power to figure it out, that's for sure.
Well,
and the wherewithal to do it.
It doesn't take that much brain power. It's like, look, we need the power. Natural gas,
yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
It's a simple solution.
Good enough, Tim. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
And we'll talk to Carl in Saginaw. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Art. I think there might be some misunderstanding about the term clean coal. From what I understand, when that industry program came out, what they are doing, they're scrubbing out the heavy metals like mercury and lead and arsenic and things like that out of the smokestacks. But Art, when you burn coal, you are combining oxygen and carbon, and you end up with CO2, and you end up with a lot of it, and that is still coming out of the smokestacks. So they may scrub out the heavy metals and call it clean coal, but they're still producing a lot of CO2. That's just chemistry.
Yeah, but I'm not convinced that all that is as bad as it's been made out to be.
Well, that's why we're not doing it. And you were talking about nuclear fuel. To me, the problem I have with that is the storage of the waste afterwards. They still haven't really come up with a good way to store this stuff that's going to be radioactive for the next 10,000 years.
Well, I would say this. They've come up with a way to do it, but it's not in my backyard. The problem is the location.
Nobody wants. They've got it someplace like out in Nevada or something in some caves.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Yeah, but if you're going to build more and more plants like this, there's going to be more and more waste. Where is it going to go? So I think they got to work on that problem.
We got to work on the entire problem of energy demand and how we're going to solve it.
Well,
not just
maybe
one.
We should ask AI.
We can't. It takes too much electricity.
But it's so smart. It should have the answer.
All right.
Okay.
Good enough. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Art.
And here is Kim in Bay City. Kim, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Hey, I'm not sure if this is proper or not, but I would like to use my time here to promote a golf outing that Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Bay City is having on August 24th.
Okay, where?
We need golfers and sponsors. It'll be at Green Hills in Pinconning. And like many churches, it's tough times for everyone, but we have food pantry that last year we provided 3,125 meals for local needy families.
Kim, because we're limited in time, let me ask some questions. Is there a website where people can get more information?
Oh, sure. If they go to EmmanuelBayCity.com under the events tab, it's listed there, and there's like QR codes and stuff. On our Facebook page, we have the flyer too.
Good.
At Emmanuel Bay City. So
Emmanuel Church Bay City. What's the website again?
It's EmmanuelBayCity.com.
EmmanuelBayCity.com.
ANUEL. Mm-hmm.
All right. That's it.
Okay.
Because we are out of time, unfortunately, but thanks for calling.
All right. Well, thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye now. And Joanne, we're not going to get to you. Call next hour after our guest.
The Stray Cats. Hey, man.
First hour of the Art Lewis Show. Thanks for being with us. We're going to learn about the Saginaw Art Fair coming up at the beginning of the next hour. After the news from CBS and the local report with Michael Percha, that's what's ahead. I'm Art Lewis. Talk to you in a few.
Broadcasting from the